Hello guys, this is Rebekah and I am here with the Homeschool Connection and doing the brew. And a brew is a mixture of people, events, and places that form together and form a more potent whole. And hopefully you can hear me and see me okay, because today I am broadcasting from the airport. And I am about to get on an airplane and go see some of my favorite people in the whole world, which I'm super duper uber excited about. So, to continue from our last time, we were talking about community service hours. Let me see if I can shift this here to get it a little bit better. Well, you know what? What had happened was I forgot my stand in the mix of all the packing. You know how it goes when you think you pack everything, but you don't pack everything. Well, the one thing I didn't pack was my stand, so sorry, it might be a little shaky. I'm trying to get it so it's a little more stable. Okay, there we go. Does it look? All right. Well, yep, that was probably an earthquake and a hurricane that all just happened in the last 5 seconds. It wasn't, I just couldn't get it still to where it needs to be. Okay, so community service hours, really quickly we'll go over them. Remember that community service is just something that one of your students does to go out and help something in society, assisting where needed, okay? So remember, you're just helping where there is a need. That is community service. Remember that when you do community service hours, my biggest thing is make sure you track it right away, and you have to make sure that it's really important, I think, to get your student involved in something that really interests them. That way they can reflect and evaluate upon the experience. A lot of parents, sometimes if you're looking for an extra thing to do with it, is to have them do a report afterward or different things like that. But make sure it's something that you involve. And if I were you, this is just my suggestion for how many hours should you get. I think that over the course of 4 years, 250 hours is a great number to shoot for. Okay, 250 seems like a lot, but you know, if you divide that by 4 years or by semesters, it's really not that many. And why 250? Because you can count 150 towards a high school credit. You can do 150 hours count as one full high school elective credit, and then you can count the 100 toward Bright Futures. There's also a 200 level Bright Future scholarship, and of course the more that you can put down. You know, I always on transcripts want to put if they've done 150 for a high school credit, so 150 hours is a high school credit, and then an extra 100 hours for Bright Futures. And then maybe they were trying for the 200 Bright Futures, so that means they would have done 350 hours total. I always put that at the bottom of their transcript so that they at least get credit for what they've done, what they've legitimately done. So, you know, make sure though that you're following the Bright Futures rules too. So make sure you're getting it signed off on, make sure a parent or guardian signature is on it, and we put those forms on our blog today. They should be posted. I think they were posted on Tuesday actually on the blog, but if you need any more forms like it, you can. Sometimes the actual place that you're doing community service will have their own form. So make sure you're documenting. Make sure you have a specific reason why. Make sure it's not something that I've never seen anyone deny community service hours, so you can pretty much work whatever it is as long as it is documented properly. I think that's kind of the main thing. You know, you can get just a medallion scholar, okay? So you can get that for 75, an academic scholar is 100 community service hours. So those are great points to point for. So make sure you complete the paperwork, okay? So there is a student application that you have to fill out. There's a parent approval form, and there's actually an agency application. And if you were going through a public school, you would have to turn that into a community service coordinator for approval. But since we're doing something that if you're homeschooled, then you as the parent have approval for it, or the person that you're doing the community service hours will have the approval. Now, we do have to submit the paperwork for that when you apply for a Bright Future Scholarship, and we will go over that later. We will have a special time that we'll go over how to apply for Bright Futures, or what it is, or, you know, all that. What kind of documentation do you need? You need the date the activity was performed. You need the agency, the place, name, the time, the specific time, like from 7 to 3, how many hours worked, and whatever adult was your supervisor. Now remember, the supervisor cannot be a parent or a family member. The supervisor has to be somebody else. It has to be someone who's not a family member. I think the rules specifically even address cousins, aunts, uncles. You know, if they have the same last name as you, probably don't have them sign your community service hours. Remember, for each place you do community service hours, you do have to fill out, now this is new, you must complete a community service plan form. What is a community service plan form? Well, it describes the social problem being served. Specifically, that's what it says. It says the social problem being served, the plan for personal involvement, what you're going to do, and a final evaluation of the service experience. So there is a full report you have to fill out every time you do community service hours, or you're supposed to. So let's say, I really like personally to take groups of kids to the Mission, is our local homeless shelter. They serve lunch. They don't get to stay overnight, but they serve lunch once a week, and they give them clothes and you know, by the way, FYI, little fun fact, Polk County, where we live, is number 2 in the nation for food insecurity. So that kind of shocked me that our little county was number 2 in the entire nation for food insecurity. So, and you know, we have a lot of homeless. I think it's important to do that. So for that, what would be the social problem being served? Homelessness in our community. What would be the plan? The plan would be, we're going to go down and volunteer for 2 hours in the soup kitchen with the Mission, the final evaluation. I really enjoyed helping. Whatever it is you put down, what kind of like what you learned. What did you learn from that experience? Okay. Of course, you know, if you're going through a school, school principals are responsible for approving specific volunteer activities or community service hours. So if you're homeschooled, you as the parent are a profit for that. Remember, you can volunteer at anything that's nonprofit, a public school, a chamber of commerce, nursing homes, clinics, libraries, animal shelters, learning activities, church, anything that's nonprofit. So you can do service work with churches that are addressing a specific social problem. So I would consider, someone put on the last blog saying something about Vacation Bible School, and I would consider that would be something that you could do community service hours. I know I said that it might not be something that you would approve, but if you think about it, they are doing, that is a social